Daniel and I'm from the Wolverhampton Music Service, and I'll be showing you how to put your clarinet together from the case. Although it's mainly for those of you who've just started learning the clarinet, it may also be helpful for those of you who've been playing for a little while and just need to check that you're doing things correctly and not damaging the instrument in any way. So here's the clarinet in the case, and I've just put my cleaning cloth at the top out of the way, and you can see the 5 parts of the clarinet in the case. And we're going to start with at the base of the clarinet with the bell. So we pick up the bell-shaped part of the clarinet and also the largest joint. And this is called the lower joint with lots of silver keys on it, and I want to hold it just at the bottom end of the joint near that line of cork at the end. Hands away from the side keys there and the keys at the top end so we don't damage them. And take the bell and just put it over the end with the cork and twist and push it in as far as it'll go so that there's no gap left between the two. Keep my hand in place, and I now take the next large joint. This is called the upper joint. Again, lots of silver keys on it, and I'd like to hold this in the middle of the joint, and I've got my fingers well away from the keys that stick out at the end and the ones at the top there, but I'll try to press down the middle finger hold key, and that raises one of those keys at the end that sticks out just at the end, and that makes it much easier to put the two joints together. So I want the end of the joint that has the keys overlapping at the bottom, and I want to put that end into the lower joint and twist and push it in at the same time. Don't twist it around too much so that the keys don't clash, and then they won't damage each other. Once it's in, then check that those two keys are overlapping here and lined up with each other as well. And then you'll see that your finger holes are nicely lined up as well. I now hold the top or upper joint in the middle to keep it steady, place the clarinet on my knee, and take the small plain part which is called the bell, and you'll see that one end of the bell is slightly wider than the other, and it's the wide end we want to put over the top of the upper joint. Twist and push that down again as far as it'll go so there's no gap. You don't need to line that up. So now we go to the mouthpiece, and that's very important. So I'm just going to put my clarinet down gently on the case and show you the mouthpiece. We have first of all, the metal cover over it, and which we can just lift and push up, and that should just slide off. Keep that out of the way for the moment. And then we have another metal part which is called the ligature, and that is there to keep our clarinet reed firmly in place. More about the reed later. Just undo or loosen those screws on the side, and then you can just lift that off gently again and put that down out of the way. So we're now ready to put our mouthpiece on the clarinet. So again, lift it up, rest it on my knee, and you'll see the mouthpiece has got one side which is flat and also a hole there as well, and the other side is very shaped. And as we put it on the clarinet, on the top of the bowl, we want to line up the flat side of the mouthpiece with the back of the clarinet, which has just got the one key at the top. That's our thumb key. So line up the flat part of the mouthpiece with the one key, the thumb key at the top of the clarinet at the back there. Once that's properly lined up, just have a quick check. Then we can come to the bits that go on the mouthpiece. Starting with the clarinet reed. So I'm just going to put my clarinet down again, gently on the case, and show you the reed. It's very delicate, it's very fragile, so they always come in these plastic cases. Now with this one, I can just pull the reed down to slide it out and away from the case. So I can put the case down and I'm ready to put that onto the clarinet mouthpiece. But before I do, we just need to prepare the reed a little by making it a little bit wet by putting it in our mouth a few times. Don't be too worried about doing that, because it will go into your mouth when you're playing the clarinet anyway. So get ready now to put that onto the mouthpiece, flat part of the mouthpiece against the flat part of the reed. Once that's roughly in place, you can hold it in place with your thumb. Doesn't have to be perfect yet, because I can adjust it in a moment, and I pick up the ligature, and like the barrel, you'll see that one end is slightly wider than the other, so I put the wider end over the top, very carefully, not touching the top of the reed at all, because it's very, very delicate, and just push it down so that the ligature is over the more shinier part of the reed. Once it's in place, you can then just move it around a little bit to check that it's as central as possible on the mouthpiece and that the reed is about the same height as the top of the mouthpiece. You can then tighten the screws of the ligature to make sure it's firmly in place, and then we're ready to play the clarinet. And that's something I'll be looking at in a later video. But before we finish, I just want to show you that when we do finish playing the clarinet, or if we want to just rest it and put it down, we should always put our cap over the reed and mouthpiece. And just like the ligature, just be very careful as you pop it in over the top, not to touch the top of the reed at all. Just press it down so that it fits snugly in place, and that's firm, that's not going to move. So we're ready to put our clarinet down now, and that's all. So thank you. If you like that, do click on the like on your screen, and also click on the small bell icon so that you will receive notifications of further videos that are produced by the Wolverhampton Music Service. Thank you.